All right, all right. Welcome, welcome. We are live, guys. We are live for a very special Sunday edition of the David Carmina Show. Now, here's what we got on for Sunday, guys. I got to tell you, I got to tell you, as we think about the wealth gap, as we think about what is going on in our community, the Black and Brown community, this is the first Sunday in March, the very first Sunday in March. And when we think about, we just finished Black History Month. When we think about going toward March, we think about building wealth. We think about 2023. We think about all of the opportunities that are out there in 2023. But the fact of the matter is that are we as a community taking advantage of those opportunities? Are we taking advantage of those opportunities? We've had a friend of the show come on, Cedric Nash, and he's been here. He has a outstanding array of talents. He's a multimillionaire. He is a millionaire mentor. He has a book out. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the state of the wealth, the Black wealth in the United States. The where we as we compare as compared to our white counterparts, as compared to the other races there. We're going to talk about how we can build wealth. We're going to talk about those 7 steps that are necessary to become a millionaire, become a multimillionaire, just like this gentleman here. But first, we have to really take and be accountable, take the steps that are necessary to build our wealth in our community. And there's no better person that I know of that can build, that has built, starting from ground zero to building himself up to a $90 million man. He's such a great guy, so humble, so knowledgeable. He is a friend, but more importantly, he is a trusted. Let me tell you guys a story. About 10 years ago or so, there was a entrepreneur that was just starting out in the real estate market. He had a dream of becoming a millionaire. I knew this guy. He was he was a really knowledgeable guy, and he was in the market for about 2 years. He had a little success. But to be honest with you, after about that 3rd or 4th year, he didn't make it. He didn't make it. But he wrote a book about how to build wealth in the real estate market. The book was semi-successful, and I went to one of his book signings. He was asked by someone from the audience, "Hey, listen, let's say his name is Mark." It says, "Mark, this is an opportunity that I have in this market right now. What do you think? How would I pursue it?" And you know what, guys? He could not answer that because he was out. He was out of the field. He didn't do a deal for about 8, 9 years. It was really embarrassing that he couldn't offer any value to that particular person at that particular time. That is not this guy here. Cedric has been out there. No one gave him a pass. He has been in the trenches, step by step by step, learning, teaching, mentoring. Awesome brother. And he's sharing that knowledge with us. I'm going to bring Cedric Nash on the show. And I want him to take some time in building kind of a platform that the average investor, The investor starting off with $0 can take advantage of opportunities that are in the market now. We also have another guest on the show. She is a commercial broker, outstanding individual. She is in the market right now. I'm going to bring her on this show. It's important that we really take advantage of these opportunities when these heavy hitters grace us with the opportunity to learn from it. So Cedric, without any ado, let me bring on Cedric Nash. Cedric, welcome back. Welcome back.
Thank you, David. Thank you for having me, my brother.
You're doing so many things, man. You have your book that was out. You have a bestseller. I mean, can you see it in the background? Can you
Yeah, I
see it?
see it. I see it. I see you
Hold
have me
on a
over
second.
there displayed so eloquently. I appreciate that.
You know,
I
I've
appreciate
read it.
I appreciate I made your bookshelf.
I've read it. It is so informative. The steps that we're going to cover in this about how to build, from starting from scratch all the way up to multi-million, those 7 figures.
Mm-hmm.
How to do that, how to build that up. It is. I tell you, I've read a lot of wealth building book over my 15 years as an investor, but there's nothing that's been as impactful as this. Nothing that really, you've had these books that gives you a lot of theory and, but not the step by step by step, where I can start from zero and then where I can end up over a period of time to a multi-million-dollar return. So that is unique about your book. But first, what do you think about the wealth in our Black and brown community? How would a person that would start off from the very bottom and build wealth?
Building wealth in our community seems fleeting, largely because 84% of the wealth in this country is in white households, and 4% is in Black households. And it appears from our vantage point, the only people getting rich in this country are white people, entertainers, and athletes, right? It seems like those are the only folks that are getting wealthy in our country, because we don't see a large number of people who are doing it any other way. And I think that what's really kind of confusing for our community is that we see that a large number of our entertainers and athletes are appearing to build a lot of wealth. Only a small percentage of them keep their wealth. They make a lot of money, but only a small percentage of them actually keep their wealth. But they keep our attention on them. We're drawn to them. We look at their every move, like we become obsessed with them. And they're even on this bandwagon to teach African Americans how to build wealth. I mean, they become very successful and they want to school us. They want to educate us because they've become brands themselves. David, back in our day, entertainers weren't brands. They were just entertainers, right? So now they're brands. Now they represent companies and big business. And so they take so much of our attention that the fleeting thing is that so when they made our kind of money, 60, 80, 100, $200,000 a year, they could not turn that into millions, right? They had to wait before they became celebrities because they're great at telling jokes, because they're great at playing basketball or football, or they're a great actor or actress or singer or rapper. Now they're making millions upon millions of dollars in income. They're connected with great financial advisors who are investing them into things earlier. And now their wealth has soared. And then now they are a person who wants to tell us how to build wealth. The sad reality is only 0.01% of us can do it the way they did it.
Right.
But yet nearly 100% of us are drawn to their way of doing it and that are inspired by their journey. Nothing wrong with being inspired from them. The reality is we can't implement it the way that they can. I wrote a book that's designed for the 99%, for the 99% who are not highly compensated or highly connected, who has to build wealth from their paycheck, who has to build wealth starting from the bottom. So my approach is something that anybody can do. The reality is it's going to take time, and it's going to be, full of hard work, sacrifices, ups and downs. But I'm convinced, regardless of your age, your race, your income level, that anybody can build wealth if they're willing to put in the work, make the necessary sacrifices, and make millionaire money moves. So, the first step is to understand that you're going to take the slow, highly probable approach, and then you're not going to wait until you get that NFL contract or that big contract to be a singer or an entertainer, that you're going to take your everyday paycheck and you're going to manage that better, right? You're going to start making savings a priority and investing a priority. And you're going to continue to do that as your income grows. And you're going to invest that into assets, real estate, stocks and bonds, entrepreneurship, even into other companies. You're going to invest that into that over and over again until you build up capital to where it generates the income for you and you don't have to work for it.
Now, Cedric, I want to kind of unpack that a little bit, because what you're saying is so powerful. That unfortunately, you're absolutely correct, is that most people see these images on TV. They're entertainers, like you said, there's rappers, they're professional athletes. John Jones was fighting last night. I'm not sure if you're a big MMA guy like I am. Shout out to John Jones, he's the GOAT. But I was at the sports bar last night, and he was he made $10+ million in 2 minutes when he choked out Cyril Gahn.
Right.
It is unlikely that you or I will be making that kind of money in 2 minutes.
Wait, they won't pay us that kind of money to lose in 2 minutes.
I would get up there. You can choke me out. You can choke me out for 10 minutes.
Wait, they wouldn't even pay us what the loser got, right?
But and I think that our community gets in their mind. Okay, well, this is fast cash. I can be a multimillionaire overnight, not knowing that even for a professional athlete, that John Jones has been fighting in the UFC 15 years. He was a champion at 23. These professional football players, they Pop Warner, high school, junior high school, the pros. I mean, it don't happen overnight. And for some people like me, who is not physically gifted, I'm okay, but I'm not going to make no $1 million off my ability to play a sport or my rapping ability. But someone like me, you're a good looking guy and big and strong. Did you play sports when you were growing up?
I played football and I played basketball, but I didn't play in college because that's what I wanted to be, an engineer. And, and so I never really had that dream. I did early on, thought I was going to do big things in basketball, but I realized I wasn't that good. I was just only good in my head. But it's a low percentage of guys that can make it all the way to the top. I mean, you do well in your city, then you go out to your state, and then you realize, wow, I'm just okay, right? So it's a low probability, but yet they garner so much attention. People are glued to their lives, to how much money they make, and they dream of having their kind of money or their kind of lifestyle. But I've developed a plan where you don't have to dream. You can do it on your own.
You don't, because you don't have to be that 1% of the 1%, to make it to the pro.
And the funny part is, like, if you look at it, they don't keep it. So I sometimes, I have this thing where I like to know people's net worth, and I compare it to mine. And I say, wow, pretty much a lot of these rappers, I'm worth more than a lot of these rappers. I'm worth more than a whole host of athletes and a whole host of actors. A lot of actors don't maintain their wealth. So it's really interesting how you can do it. And my net worth is tied to a lot of real estate that I own and the business I own, right? And my stock portfolio. So it's real.
And, unlike sports or athletes, you don't get out of that game unscathed.
You don't.
It is hard on your body. It is hard on, and even it's like you. I agree with you. I've been looking up some of these well-known, well-named actors, and you look up their net worth, and you never know if it's accurate online. but your net worth is larger because you
Exactly.
built it over time, and
Yes.
it's you have those solid foundations.
Yeah. And I build it based on assets. They're building it based on their career and their ability to get top billing at the box office, right?
Mhm.
Which very few can. You got to almost win an Oscar to start getting 20 million a movie or 30 million a movie, right?
Right.
So, so yeah. So, like I said, it has the majority of us seeking ways to build wealth that we have a low probability of getting, as opposed to seeking the higher probable ways of doing it, which is the slow, assured way. And like I said, these entertainers get millions of followers, and they get people hanging on their every word when they're on social media. But a person like mine, like me, who might have 37,000 followers on social media and a few likes here and there, it's like they they're listening, but they're not really understanding that I can teach them how to do it off their paycheck.
And you can teach them how to do it from, like you said, starting from zero,
Mm-hmm.
and it's attainable for 90+%,
Yeah.
and one way of doing that. But before we actually get to this, I want to cover your approach toward making a million. But first, I want to really salute you, brother. I saw an article, or I heard through the grapevine. I'm not going to tell you who told me, but I heard that you and another celebrity, Mr. Scantlin, Marquis Scantlin, Vaquez Scantlin. I want to make sure I don't kill his
Marquez,
name.
me and Marquez Valdez.
Marquez.
Yeah.
You guys was on Forbes, interviewed by
Yes.
Forbes, right?
Yeah. Yeah. We were last week. We were up in New York, and he was kind enough to come up and join me on an interview with Forbes magazine, where they were talking about athletes and their money. And it's going to come out on Forbes on their online platform sometime soon. I'll have to let you know about that. But he did an interview, and I did an interview, and he did an incredible job.
That's awesome. And I'm sure that you are, and one of the things that you've done, and again, your give back to the community is awesome. You are actually have mentored millionaires, or a lot of people that are now worth millions of dollars, correct?
That's correct. Some athletes from my hometown, and fortunately, his mom, through a mutual friend of ours, reached out to me and asked me for some advice on accountants, financial advisors, and lawyers and stuff like that. And I volunteered to give the time because I wanted him to be crazy successful. He already had the right mindset because he had great parents who raised him. But what was amazing was that, and it wasn't like I was just wanting to make sure that he was going down the right path and had somebody that he could reach out
Right.
to hold his team accountable. That's really the nature
Right.
of our relationship. I'm
And this
like,
has been built over time. I mean,
yeah,
he didn't win the Super Bowl and all of a sudden,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah. So I've just like being there and open to be there for other athletes so that they don't make the common mistakes that other athletes do by putting too much faith in their team and their team doing them wrong.
Right. Right. So let's get right to it. Again, congratulations. But I want to talk about how the majority of us, the ones that are not as gifted as a professional football player, can make a really really change in the trajectory of ourselves, our household, build a legacy, how we can build that wealth in our community. And this, I think, is the steps that most people can take as
Yes.
a average everyday person starting off with zero and build all the way up to $1 million portfolio, correct?
That's correct. And the reality is, you said most everybody could do this. Everyone can do this if they're willing to work and save and sacrifice. So, yeah, this is what I call my Millionaire Money Moves investment ladder. And one day I was just sitting around, I was saying, I get this question so often, when can I invest in this? And when can I invest in that? So I wanted to put together a chart, and I started writing this chart out, and it started to make sense.
Mm-hmm.
So now people can question whether or not the thresholds are accurate because they vary depending on where you are and where you're investing. But for the most part, they're kind of thresholds that you can count on. And in some cases, if you can do things with less money, then by all means do so. But these are general rules of thumbs. So the ladder goes that, there's 7 levels to my Millionaire Money Moves investment ladder. And the goal is, it's kind of like playing a game. The goal is to become a level 7 investor where you're invested in every asset class that you can. And so starting off, the first goal is to get to $1,000 through your savings. And once you do that, and you're between 1,000 and 25,000, you're a level 2 investor, and you can invest in index funds, ETFs, mutual funds, stocks, and bonds, and continue to save. And then once you get over 25,000 and between 25 and 50,000, you're a level 3 investor. You can pick up single family homes as well as everything in level 2.
So Cedric, let's go back to level 2, because there've been a lot of chatter in the stock market, mutual funds, index funds community with the FTX and the other things that's going on. Speak to how. So I'm an investor, right? I just started off. I'm a single mom. I am a college kid that just got out. I know I need to invest. I've saved up. I got family and friends to give me that $1,000 or so, and now I'm at level 2. If I was but I'm a little sketchy. I'm a little sketchy about the market.
Yep.
Should I be concerned about the market with my $1,000?
You should not be concerned about the market. Number one, you should only be putting away money that you can put away without touching, right? And then number two, if you look at the stock market from its beginning of time, the 20s, somewhere around that time frame, the stock markets continually rise, right? It's outperformed real estate time and time again. There's been 2 big, huge hits in the market, and that's the Great Depression in the 1930s, 1932, and the Great Recession in 2008. Yeah, we've had a drop here and there from time to time, but it continues to rise, and that's something that you can count on. You say, well, why does it continue to rise? It's because when you invest in the stock market, you're actually investing in a company. You're buying something real, a company that produces a product, a company that provides the goods and service. And there's a lot of high quality companies that you can pretty much almost guarantee will not go out of business. And if they did go out of business, somebody would buy them and they would continue to grow, right? So I focus on high quality investments. And, and I think that, market growth is really more about the timing of the market, which you can't control, than it is about what you buy. We're not super sophisticated stock people that can go look and analyze a stock and have a sense of what that stock's going to do. That would take almost somebody having a crystal ball. So the whole point is you can invest in super quality companies with great management teams. And by doing so, you're investing in that company's ability to grow. And over time, they prove to grow. And that's really that simple.
So we're not talking about startups. We're talking about companies that have a track record that produce a real product.
Exactly. And then some of them I would say these companies are so bad, David, that they're either going to beat you or they're going to buy you, meaning that they're going to compete to win. If they realize they can't win because you've got an unfair advantage, they're going to buy you if they can. A classic example of that is Microsoft and Apple, the number of companies that they purchased over time. Look at Facebook. Facebook bought Instagram. Instagram was not a Facebook product. They also brought WhatsApp, right? They purchased WhatsApp. So WhatsApp.
WhatsApp.
So, yeah. So they're always going to find something that says, wow, if I can add this to my portfolio, then I'm going to buy it. And so you're investing in a company that does that. Now, cryptocurrency don't do that, right? So the whole point is you got to buy quality. And if you buy quality, it's not so much what you're buying. It's really about buying it all the time, keeping your portfolio diversified, and allowing the market to do what it does. Like right now, the market's been contracting, right? So some people are like, it's come down. This is the time you should be buying. You should be buying all the time. That's what I do every month.
Oh, you buy every month?
Every month. Every time I write my bills, the first part of the month, like I'll be writing my bills around the 10th of the month.
Mhm.
I'm buying stock in a certain portfolio that I believe in.
And you put a certain percentage that you buy every month, or does it vary depending on what's on the market?
I have a certain amount of money that I invest every single month. I've had cash sitting on the sideline.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of people say, well, I've had people at some of my book signings say, well, I got $500,000 and I don't know what to invest in. And should I put it all in the market? And the answer is no, you shouldn't put it all in the market. You should layer it into the market in small pieces over time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because if you put it all into the market, you might put it all in Netflix. And in April of 2023, on one day, Netflix dropped 35%. You don't want to do that. You want to just do it slowly over time. And so the cash I've had sitting on the sidelines, I've been slowly layering it into the market. You say, well, why? Because when it's sitting in a bank account, it ain't working for me. It's not making any money.
Right.
I also bought some treasury bills, right? Some treasury bills are because U.S. treasuries are at 5% guaranteed for holding it in there for 1 year. So I'm like, shoot, let me stack up on some of those, because as opposed to sitting it in a bank account, earning less than 1% interest, I might as well get 5%. That's some real numbers right there, right?
Yeah, so you're not excited about the 0.01% interest that you that you get from that don't excite you.
You're losing money doing that. And there's a lot of black people. People be surprised how many black people got some serious money, but it's under their mattress. It's in a bank account, and it's not working for them because they're afraid to put it to work.
So we have 10 plus sounds. Salute. Thank you for coming on to the show. You know, Cedric, we also are simulcasting on Facebook. So we may have some Facebook questions that pop up from time to time. Okay.
Cool.
Now I have my 25,000. I've invested. Like you said, every month I put a little bit into the market, stuff that I don't need an immediate return on. And I built up to now I have 25K. What do I do now? Am I at level 3?
Yeah, when you're between 25 and 50K, you're at level 3, and now you can open yourself up to single family homes or duplexes, right? So when you get to that kind of thing, because the reason I say a duplex is because the financial requirements for a duplex or anything under 4 units is the same as a single family home. And so, but however, duplexes are evaluated based on the income they produce, not comparable sales, not so much comparable sales. But once you're there, you're ready to venture out into real estate. Now, you might have most of your money invested in these funds. Well, there's nothing wrong with taking money out of your stock portfolio and rolling it into real estate. Why? Because you just transferred it from one asset class to another. Yes, you're going to have to potentially pay capital gains taxes, but the whole point is the whole point of investing initially in the stock market is to try to get a better return on your money. It's to try to grow your money as fast as possible.
Right.
And that's your best hope of growing it as quickly as possible.
So I haven't pulled everything off from step 2. I'm still investing in the market, but I'm diversifying my investments. Okay. Yep. So between 20K and 50K, I'm right there at level 3. Level 4 is when we're going to get a little bit deeper in there, huh?
Yep. At level 4, now you have enough excess cash to do a little bit of house flipping if you want to do it. But you got to be careful because all house flipping doesn't work out. You know, there's a lot of hidden costs associated with house flipping. And it's important that you get these properties for, lower than the market will bear.
Right.
So, but, some people like it as a way to grow their cash. And it's a way that you can do it. You can grow up your cash so that you can go to the next level and get into small multi-family properties when you got 150 to 250,000.
Now, when we started going up that ladder to, we had level 4 going to level 5. That's when we probably need someone that is an expert in, because you're looking at larger properties there.
Yeah, you're looking at commercial properties.
Yeah,
you got to require 25%
properties
down. You got to have cash reserves to fix anything that's there. You may have periods of time where you're not collecting rent, so you got to have excess cash to pay the mortgage until you lease it up. Gets more complicated.
Well, we just so happen to have on the show a commercial property broker. I'm going to bring her up to speak to this. She's an expert in this market, and I want to get her to give a little bit more clarity, because I think that a lot of people are kind of there. We kind of at, we're at the duplex, the triplex, the quads. We're there. We're still doing kind of the single family, a couple of properties here. We have a duplex there. We have a quad somewhere else. And then now we're ready to do like a portfolio loan type of deal. Now we're ready to maybe do a 1031 exchange. We're moving stuff, to where we can make a larger play from the commercial side. So let's bring her up. Tisha, how you doing?
Good morning.
You're on mute.
I am well.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So give us a little bit about your background, your company, where you're out of, and I want you to speak to a person that is at level 4. They've done these single family and residential multifamily. Now they're ready to enter into commercial properties. I want you to speak to that and give us a little bit of idea of what that person looks like.
Well, if I can I share a story? Because I think Cedric's map is just amazing. Would that be okay?
No sharing stories. No sharing stories. I'm sorry. I'm the only one. No, go ahead, please. Please do.
When I look at the stepping stone, Cedric, I've actually experienced that from being at a level 1 on housing, which is public housing where the government paid for your rent, then being able to buy my first house, and then using the first house to what my business partner now, we purchased 5 or 6 houses, and actually we've gone through those steps. So it just goes to show, starting from level 0, starting from level 1, it is attainable and it is possible. And I think that's what's so key about your book. It relates to everyone, and it shows you exactly how you can get the steps accomplished. And it doesn't make a person feel like it's not achievable. So kudos to you for being able to break down not only the information, but the barriers of entry, because I think that's the hard part. People don't know where I could enter. So if I'm only working a regular job and I don't have a lot of money, but I can enter at level 1 and then get to level 2, it gives me some real hope.
Yeah.
That is so true. I cannot think of another book, and I said this on my opening. I cannot think of another book that starts you at 0. You get these books that say, well, you take this $1,000 and you move it here, and you take this $100,000 and you flip that. And no, I don't have $100,000.
Well, David, often they don't talk
in
about
my bank account.
$10. They don't talk about a sum of money. They just say you just buy it, and they're like they ignore the details of, well, where do I get the capital to buy this thing, right? So yeah.
The devil is in the details. You're so right. You're so right. So, Tisha, I have, I'm ready to graduate from the residential multifamily. I'm ready to get my first, 6 units, maybe 8 units. I'm ready to buy that small office. Tell me about that. Tell me opportunities that are out there. What should I be looking for?
Well, one, you should be looking for a very savvy realtor to assist you in that process. As you said before, David, the whole dynamics of buying those properties are a little bit different. The banks are going to finance you. It's a lot easier to get an investment property, a single family investment property, or a duplex or a triplex or a quad, because you can actually finance those in an LLC and do very little, if any, debt to income ratio calculation. Some of the lenders will finance that for you on credit score and experience only. But when you step into the commercial world, And I not only sell commercial real estate, but I was also a commercial lender. So from that perspective, the whole underwriting process is totally different. Anything over $1 million, you're in a whole different uh, bracket. They're not only looking at you personally, but they're looking at you professionally. They want to make sure that it cash flows. They're even doing background checks. And some people don't even know that when you're going to a bank that they're doing a background check to see if they even want to give you their money. So, and as Cedric described, being able to have that reserve commercial space sometimes is not as easy to be able to lease it out. And the way that the return on investments is calculated, the vacancy rate, the cost of just the renovation is so much greater. Whereas a roof on a home may cost you $7,000 or $8,000. You get a commercial property, you're looking at $50,000 or $60,000, and you're like, okay, well, they're very close, similar in space, but it's because it's commercial.
Yep.
Right. So you let's unpack that a little bit, because you talked about debt to income loans. You talk about portfolio. They look at you in totality. They look at you personally, look at your LLC. So you're getting into a space where you really are forming a business.
Correct.
It sounds like.
Well, even if you're just investing in 1 or 2 single family homes, you should always purchase that property in an LLC. And there's a lot of benefits for being able to do so. So if you've gotten to that point and you've mastered that, when you get to the commercial space, it should be no different.
What are the benefits?
So for one of the main benefits, it doesn't show up on your personal credit report. Right there, that takes away a big portion of your debt that could be on you personally. Second one is, if you're ever sued, you're protected. Your assets are protected under that LLC.
Whoa. So you mean that if I get sued, I have that protection? Because we're very litigious in the United States.
Yeah.
I mean, they have them slips and falls all the time. So really, it is a way to personally protect yourself more than anything else, huh?
Absolutely. And ironically, they say knowledge is power. When I worked in the financial industry, I had a young lady, her and her husband, they had about 15 properties that I helped finance, all in their personal name.
No.
And until I learned, just through research and reading books like Cedric's, the power of being able to fund your property, not to buy the property and then quick claim it into the LLC, but to fund your property in the LLC, which is the proper way. And there's many lenders that will do that for you. Because a lot of people don't realize, when you buy it in your name, your personal name, and you quick claim is where you change the ownership. When you quick claim it to the LLC, you've really voided that mortgage. And so if you're sued, that bank could also sue you because you're in violation of that. So
yeah, they have an escalation clause in the mortgage that they can trigger.
In addition to the fact that once you transfer to a different name, it's like a property transfer. So you're invoking some taxes, a transfer tax.
Yep, absolutely. So the right way to do it. And so that's why, to me, having these types of information are key pieces to help you avoid costly mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
So Cedric, I see that you are, when we talked about protection and protecting yourselves by putting things in vehicles, LLC, a trust, that type of thing. That is level 3 and 4. You're really starting to form a system where you can start acquiring these type of things and maintaining your protection, your personal protection on your personal assets, right?
That's correct.
So we at level 4. We have, let's say we bought I see that we're flipping properties. We're still investing. We haven't stopped what we're doing with the stock market. We're still doing stocks, bonds. We're building up our savings. I see you have mutual funds. So we're building that net worth. Where do I go next? What's next, Cedric?
Well, from so after level 4 house flipping, you go to small multifamily properties, level 5. That's between 150 to 250, and then you go into entrepreneurship as an option, 250 to 500,000. Now,
Then
this always gets disputed. Go
property.
ahead, Taisha.
Then you hire somebody like me to manage your properties.
Yeah,
Yeah,
actually, let's speak on that
you
because
hire
we get a
Scantling
lot of people.
property management.
Exactly. Let's speak on that because we get a lot of people that are, they think that they need to do it all themselves. They have 10 units, 15 units, that type of thing. And, their hesitancy, I get a lot of this actually. Their hesitancy is that, well, I don't want to get that 3 a.m. phone call saying that, my toilet is stuffed up or, I can't do that while I'm still working on my regular 9 to 5. This is just too big for me. Really, Taisha, to your point, they should have, before they even gotten to that point, they should have hired help like a property management company, like a broker to help them navigate that, right?
Absolutely. We did a class yesterday at the women's conference, and we talked to people about how to even get to the, if you got equity in your home and your goal is to pay it off, and that equity is doing you no good, how you can pull some of that equity out and get to those steps. And so one of the things that was shared in the room was, I don't know if I can do it. So that goes back to your point, David. They hire a contractor, they hire a property manager, they hire the proper people to come in to help them with it. They may not make the $20,000 that year, but if they make 10, that's $10,000 that they made off of money that they didn't have to spend out of their pocket. So hiring the right people, building the right team, and having the resources are all key. But the first step is knowing that you got to go to start. You got to get to that. You got to line up for the race.
Yeah, absolutely.
The other thing, David, to Taisha's point, sometimes if they're working, when you first start buying properties, you don't really have enough to quit your job. So you got to keep your job to earn more money to live and to save so you can continue on. So a lot of people will need a property manager because they can't take off their job to deal with evictions or to meet with contractors to get estimates when they need to in order to fix things expeditiously. So until they can get to the point where they can do it full time and maybe be their own property manager, are they able to do so? So property management resources can be very helpful as they're climbing up the ladder.
And also, it speaks to scalability because at some point you're going to grow out your ability to do it yourself, no matter, if it may be at property 8, it may be at property 15. But at some point, if you want to grow to your 7th level, you can't do it yourself. You have to, you're gonna have to build, like you see in level 6, you're gonna have to be an entrepreneur. You're building a business.
Yeah. Yeah, the other piece is that you're absolutely right about that that becomes very, very vital. And then there's some people who elect to buy properties outside of the area where they live. It might be 2-3 hours away from where they live, and that can be very difficult to manage, right?
Or in a different state,
Different state, exactly. Yep.
So you need to start thinking about, protecting yourself to Isha's point, as well as you want to build in scalability, because I'm sure that you're the worst thing to be is be a multimillionaire and you can't step away from your job. I mean, I think the end goal is to be like you, Cedric, to be able to have that residual income and you're able to help and pour into the community because you're able to you're at a mature level in your business development that you can step away a little bit.
It's freedom and peace.
Financial freedom.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm at level 5, level 6. I cut you off from there, Cedric. I've talked to Taisha. I've talked to Mr. Ware. I've talked to individuals, companies that can help me identify properties that can help me with the managing of that of my portfolio. I'm still investing now. I'm still putting away that I was putting away $1,000 or investing $1,000 in the stock market. Now I'm at maybe 5,000 a month. So I'm still doing that. I'm ready. Tell me about level 6. What does that look like?
Level 6 is about investing in a business if that's something that you're interested in. Not everybody wants to be an entrepreneur, but for those who do, entrepreneurship is a very important step in your wealth journey, because entrepreneurs tend to make more in income either through profits from the business as well as the salaries they can take from those businesses. And by investing that additional income, you're able to grow your wealth a whole lot faster. And it's a known fact that the majority of people that make it to Destination Millionaire are entrepreneurs. So I have a threshold of $250,000 to $500,000. Some people say, well, shoot, I started my business with no money at all, or with just $2,000. Well, when you look at, what you really put into your business, if you didn't pay yourself, it's an opportunity cost there. So you actually are spending money, because you got to cover yourself while you're building your business. And if you get an office space where you have to pay rent, or you have to buy supplies, or pay for a website, or pay an attorney to get an LLC, you are pouring money into that business, and you'll find that you've spent more money than you think. So my attitude is, you don't want to go into entrepreneurship undercapitalized, because that's, 50% of businesses fail within the first 5 years anyway.
Right.
So the whole point, and another 70% failed after the first 10 years. And often it's because of lack of capital and an inability to turn that business into being profitable. So you want to go into it with a certain amount of cash so that you have enough time to likely be successful. And that's where level 6 comes in.
Let's talk about that time piece. We alluded to it earlier that a lot of people think that this happens overnight. From level 1 to, let's say, level 4, what time frame are we looking at there?
It's really kind of hard. It really depends on how much money accessible cash they have to put away. So it's going to vary by, various people, right? So if you'd ask me personally, I started my journey at the age of 25, and I was probably a level 5. I was at a level 5 by the time I was 38. Mm-hmm. I bought my first multifamily at 38 in 2003, right? So it's going to vary. There's some young people these days that are coming out very focused, and they're buying multifamilies as their first piece of property. So it's going to really, really vary depending on how much available capital you have and how focused you are. I'm hoping that by providing this to our community, that they can do it a whole lot faster because they're more focused.
Right. And because, like you said in previous shows, you had millionaire mentors, but really nothing like this that tells you step by step and what to expect.
Correct.
And one thing about time, whether you use it wisely or not, Cedric, as you know, it's going to pass. So may as well use that time wisely.
Might as well be focused. What is Taisha? What do you think about how long it takes?
So I think when you are educated, you can go a lot quicker. Once we got to a point where common sense was common, we moved a lot quicker. But it was the mindset. Initially, even though I bought my house at 24, and that I didn't realize I was under the mindset of just get the house, stay in it, pay it off, which we just recently did. But we used it. We learned how to use it. Mm-hmm. So we've moved up a couple of levels, I would say, over the last 2 years, extremely fast. But the previous years, it was extremely slow. So I would agree too. And I just want to say, I want to make sure that we remind everyone that you're going to be doing this book signing next Friday at Raymond James. And I think it's going to be phenomenal. Our history, and I appreciate you for taking the opportunity to open the door and share your information. When we first met, I thought you were a really cool person to be able to be a multimillionaire and still act like an average individual and be open enough and willing enough to not only embrace, but share your knowledge and your information. And then, you taking my son on and opening up the doors to be able to guide him. I think that's phenomenal. But I think it's even more better that you're saying, hey, you don't even have to be a multimillionaire. Come out, get this information. I'm willing to come out and talk to you guys, be there, share my experience. Of course, it's in a book. They say if you don't want someone to know something, you put it in a book. We want to change that narrative, have people come out, get a chance to talk to you. Also, get the opportunity to read that book. There was one book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Mm-hmm.
That was the first financial book I read about investing. That was a memorable book. So hopefully people read this one. This will be a memorable book for someone like myself.
Yep.
So where do they come? They come on Monday, Raymond James.
It's actually Friday.
No, it's actually
Friday, sorry.
Friday, March 10th.
Okay.
At Raymond James between 5:30 and about 8:30.
And what can they expect to get from this experience?
Yeah, I think this experience is going to be pretty powerful because I'm going to explain to our community about why our relationship with our money historically is the way that it is and where that comes from. And I'm going to talk about our historical, untreated, unresolved financial trauma that started since slavery that has impacted our money mindset, our money values, and our money behaviors, and how to start unraveling that, how to start treating this unresolved trauma, because that mindset is what's blocking us from actually making what I call millionaire money moves and thus becoming millionaires.
That's interesting because I remember growing up, there was a saying that was used in my household that said, if it was free, it was for me. And so when you realize free is not really free, you're giving something up. And that's that mindset. Because when you don't work, you don't have control of your finances, you don't build financial wealth, you don't grow into buying assets.
Mm-hmm.
Think about cars as not really a liability. You think about them as an asset, which is totally not correct.
Mm-hmm.
But you learn the value of money. And I think that's a huge piece that I would say was missing for me in my younger years and growing up. And I think that just having that mindset, that movement will change a lot of people just in their thinking. And once that's done, then the opportunity for them to move towards advancement becomes a little bit easier.
And here's what's interesting is that actually we have Andrew Ware, who is promoting the show, the event at Raymond James. He's actually in the green room. Let me bring him on to talk a little bit about it. Drew with World Class Consulting, tell us a little bit about what's going on at Raymond James.
Yeah, I'm honored and excited. So the book signing that's going to happen on March 10th, we're having it at the Raymond James headquarters. So let's talk about that a little bit. Raymond James headquarters have never had anyone out in the public to do any events. Thanks to knowing about Cedric Nash and Marquette Scantling being a client of theirs, they thought it would be quite wise to have a book signing, which, of course, come on now, Cedric Nash book, Why Should White Guys Have All the Wealth?
I think Drew may have frozen. Let me drop him and then I'll bring him back on, Cedric. But
okay.
let's go back to the ladder here because we at level 7. I want to talk about that because when we talk about Raymond James and needing financial services, we really at level 6 and level 7 where we have a professional kind of look at our overall business and look at building in a generational wealth component, right? We're looking at the trust. We're looking at ways to actually establish our business, set our business up to where we can walk away from it and still receive residual cash from the business. Could you speak to that part?
Yes, I do want to piggyback on something that Taisha said about people learning how to value their money.
Mm.
And I think that, just kind of picking back on what she said, that once they understand how to value their money, once they understand how to use their money to make the money that they spend, that's an empowering thing. I mean, because then it becomes, and that's what happened to me. You start becoming obsessed with ways of using money to generate more money. And once you can get your money to generate the money that you need, now your money's doing the work for you, right? And so, that's really a major theme of the book, is getting people to use their money to make the money they need. And in order to do that, they're starting with that in mind. They're starting with the end in mind, as opposed to using their money to accumulate a whole bunch of things that hold no value, and then they have to keep working for the rest of their lives.
Yeah, and that's that financial freedom piece that you were speaking to earlier.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's it. And you realize also that you don't need as much stuff too. As you get older and time goes on, you realize, having, more cars, more clothes, and more flashy things doesn't add much peace to your life, right? And so, that's just something that comes with it. And unfortunately, they have to go through that process. But we have Drew here. Should we go back to Drew? Because
let's go back to Drew. I brought him back up. Drew, are you
Yes, David, can you hear
back?
me?
Okay, awesome. Go ahead.
Yeah. So one of the main things that I'm certain Cedric's going to talk about for the ones that are actually coming to the book signing is that propensity to consume. You have this window of income that you get, but you got to find out if you're consuming most of it. And a lot of individuals, when they get money, because of the stress and going through what we go through every day, we tend to buy things. We tend to want to look a certain way to tell other people that we've made it, not realizing at the end of the day, we as a people, I'm talking about the black and brown, we're at 1.7, $1.8 billion. So we got to be a little bit more intentional about how we're consuming all of our income, because if we're putting it into the luxury cars and the homes and all of that, and we don't have anything that we own, at the end of the day, we're not gonna have anything. So what I like about this book is it gives you a master plan that you can actually follow. You can be 50 years of age, you can be in your teens, you can be in college, and you can follow these steps. And these are proven track records, because here's what I want everyone to realize. Even the ones that's coming to this event, success has clues, and so does failures. And what I like about it is Cedric Nash, he breaks it down to fully understand. It's like 24, you're at about $21,400 is our average income when we're talking about us. When you're talking about the others, you're looking at $175,000. So you have to be a lot more intentional how you're consuming what you get. And I'd like for Cedric, perhaps maybe he can enlighten us a little bit about what he's going to talk about, because it's all about that consumption, right, Cedric?
Well, before we move on, tell us where it's going to be located again and the time.
Yes, so it will be at the Raymond James headquarters in St. Pete. Actually, I don't have the physical address, and it's going to start at 5:30. It'll be from 5:30 to 8:30. And we're encouraging everyone to sign up. We actually still have a little window for them to sign up to come out to the book
So it's
signing.
not sold out yet, right?
No, we still have a little window, and that's why we're doing this live now, to get that out there. But
how would someone sign up for it? Is that are we going to go through Eventbrite for that again?
That is absolutely correct. You would go to Eventbrite, and you would just click on where it would actually say Cedric Nash book signing. It would say March 10th, and you can go ahead and register for this event, which will happen on March 10th from 5:30 to 8:30.
The address is actually 880 Carillon Parkway at the Raymond James Financial Center. 880 Carillon Parkway at the
Thank
Raymond
you, Ms. Cantley. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
And what I'm gonna do in the description of this show, I'm gonna put that Eventbrite link in there, Drew, to that way that it'll make it easier for someone to register for the event. Now, is there any cost to this event?
It is. And Cedric Nash has he decided he would invest and pay for all of it. He's paying for
What?
the videography. He's paying for food. He's paying for music. He's paying for everything. He actually have a partner. So Raymond James, they're going to also come in as a partner to pay for this. Yes.
So
it is a cost.
There's a cost, but no cost to the community.
No cost to dollars, just the cost in their time and attention.
That's it.
So you're telling me, Cedric, that I can go to an event on the 10th, hear more in detail about how to build wealth from you, a bona fide multimillionaire, for no cost out of my pocket. That is, you can't get that. You can't get that, from anywhere else. And like Taisha said, it's a mindset thing. If you can change if we can get as a community, change our mindset, we can really take advantage of these opportunities, build wealth in our community. I mean, that's unreal. That is unreal.
Not only that, David, changing of the mindset within the African-American community is paramount. It's so important. The reason is that we look at the racial wealth gap and how African Americans have a net worth of $24,100 and whites have a net worth of over $189,000. And they're saying that the racial wealth gap will trend towards zero, where African Americans will have a net worth of zero by 2053, when the world is mostly minority. And we have to reverse that trend, because if that is to occur, we have very little economic power, even though we have a lot of spending power. And our dollars won't recycle in our community, thereby building up our communities. Our communities will continue to degrade until the point that they find value in it and take it over, like they're doing downtown St. Pete, right, Taisha? So that we've got to change our mindset, because they can make the game fair. They can make our collective income even. They could give us a net worth of $180-something thousand like they have. They could eradicate racism, which will never happen. And if they did, the white guys would get even richer, because our mindsets are such that we would use that money to make them richer by buying more Louis Vuitton, buying more Mercedes-Benz, and they'll get the money all back again.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's all about our mindset and our value set around using our money to make more money, as opposed to using more money to make us look richer.
Now, I know that is such a powerful statement. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Taisha, I know that we're simulcasting on Facebook. Are there any questions on Facebook for Cedric?
Let me check.
We have Jess. Jess, thank you for coming in. If you have any questions, let her know. It says, I like your visual. Okay. So Cedric, I just didn't have, I wasn't aware that about the disparity in the wealth gap between the Black and brown communities and, the non-Black and brown communities, the white communities. Yeah. It is a real thing.
Yep, it is. I see that she says she likes the visual figures. You can see them all on my website at cedricnash.com. and cedricnash.com. And if you look at my Millionaire Money Moves framework, you'll see all the figures that go along with my book.
And Jess, also, I know that you are out of state, but he has a book on Amazon, the full book on Amazon with the explanations. Correct, Cedric?
Yep, that's correct.
And they can order it right now. In fact, I have a hard copy of it here. It is Why Should White Guys Have All the Wealth? How you can become a millionaire starting from the bottom. Awesome, awesome, awesome.
So no, I don't have any questions that I see. I see that there's there's several people that have joined on the Facebook page. I'm not sure if they're also on your live.
Yeah, I have some people over here on live, but if there's are any questions for Mr. Nash, we're going to have a quick question and answer segment. Taisha, I know that you said that you have a hard stop that you need to go. Is there any final words or comments that you want to make?
I would just share one thing, Cedric. When you mentioned don't go out and spend your money on buying, the BMWs and things like that. But if you're spending someone else's money, if you're making money off of that money and you reward yourself,
Exactly.
That's okay.
Well, I have a system in my book called deferred gratification because I am a mixed bag. I do like nice things too. But the objective is that you have to kind of set up within your Millionaire Money Moves master plan, a plan of when you're going to reward yourself after you achieve certain milestones within your plan. So yeah, I'm not saying not to ever buy it. And the name of the game is to get your assets to pay for it, not you.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
If you can buy assets that will eventually pay for it, that means that I say you can ball hard for a lifetime, not just a season.
I agree. No more using my own personal money to buy me those nice shoes, that nice bag. I'm using everybody else's money. So
yeah, makes sense.
And you know what
Exactly.
they say, if you have a business, if you can see it, you can write it off.
that's right.
So that is actually a tax deduction. Speak to your accountant. None of us on the panel. We're not offering, tax planning services or anything like that. But yeah. And ladies, we're not saying that you have to. You can't have fun. And gentlemen, you can take those trips. You can buy those nice things, the nice bags, the nice shoes, the nice suit. It's just that, as Cedric said, let the income from your assets pay for it instead of you paying for it directly.
Yeah.
Tisha, I know you have to drop. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it. And we're going to circle back around. You mentioned that your son, the Super Bowl champ, is going to be blessing us with some of his experiences and knowledge on Wednesday. Thank you for that. Will you be able to come back on Wednesday?
No, I won't be available on Wednesday.
Okay. All right, then we Cedric and I and Mr. Ware, we're gonna talk to your son. Hey, listen, if he comes back with a new multifamily, we'll make sure that you that you get a piece of that deal.
Yeah, he's not gonna buy anything without me. That part.
As he should. He should not buy anything without you. Your wise counsel. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Right, guys.
All right, take care, Ms. Cantley. So, David, let me speak to this.
Thank you.
Actually, in Cedric's book, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
David, all right.
We can hear you,
let
Drew.
me speak to this. Yeah, so chapter 9, finding a millionaire mentor. Let me tell you the reason why that's so important. What Cedric Nash perhaps didn't mention today, but he had a lot of millionaire mentors that he was around. How important that is you don't know what you don't know. So by getting the counsel and being able to go to them can really save you millions and millions of dollars. Just remember, Raymond James, they built their reputation. They're making billions and billions of dollars because they have those advisors. That would be the same in Cedric's book, chapter 9. It talks about how you attract those mentors. Maybe Cedric will like to expound a little bit more.
No, I appreciate that, Mr. Ware. Often that's like my number one question. How do I find a millionaire mentor? Or will you be my mentor? I do mentor for free. I have a group that I mentor on through social media. And you can join that group by taking the Black Wealth Growth Challenge off my website. And we meet every other Monday. I bring in guest speakers and we talk about ways to build your wealth, and we actually measure it. So we're not talking about it. We're actually being about it. But I break it down on how to find a millionaire mentor, how to find somebody that's real, how to approach them, what that relationship should be like. What are your responsibilities to the relationship? What are your expectations? A lot of people find somebody who decides to mentor them and they get upset when the person doesn't call them back after one attempt. If they're a really good mentor, they're extremely busy. And if they volunteer to mentor, they usually do it out of the kindness of their heart, and they're willing to. But it is up to you, the protege, to find out what's the right timing, what's the right rigor of communication between you and your mentor so that you guys can do it efficiently. So I break down all the tips in the book on where to find them, how to manage that relationship, and how to make it work. My mentors have meant everything for me. I've had 4 millionaire mentors early on, 3 black, 1 white, that poured a lot into me, shaped my mindset. And then all throughout my career, I've met tons of them. And I write in my book about 3 of them who were very instrumental in my development. So it's so important. That's how we're going to change our mindset. It's through mentorship. It's learning through your mentors how to process and how to evaluate opportunities and how to treat your money in ways that keep it growing. It's really through that mentorship moment that you actually really master that.
Cedric, we have a question from Jess. Jess says, how many years after you buy your first single family home are you supposed to use the equity to flip houses? And I know we kind of spoke to this a little bit, but what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, my thoughts are that you can't really number of years, because it depends on how much equity you have in your house, because the equity in your house grows or contracts based on where the market is. If there's a thing that I had to tell one of the young guys I mentor, is that he had some duplexes or threeplexes that he was barely making any profit on, but he had $200,000 or $300,000 in equity. So I said, hey man, your return on equity is terrible. It's like you're getting almost nothing on $200,000 in equity. You need to either buy up or take the capital out and try to find a way to get 7 or 8% return off that $200,000. And it really sparked something in him. And as a result, he ended up buying properties to the point where now he's got 38 apartment units, right? So the whole point is like when you're sitting on equity in your house, it's great. But if you can find another property that's going to do 2 things. Number 1, generate enough income from rentals to cover the money that you borrow. And number 2, give you a little bit of money on top of that. Now you're moving forward. You don't want to tap that equity until you can do that. Too many people tap their equity to buy cars or to take trips. And they're tapping into their net worth. They're lowering their net worth. If you tap into your equity, you want to make sure that you're tapping into something that's going to give you a real return, right? That's going to really appreciate. Other than that, you're going backwards. So you got to be serious with yourself and not look at it as, oh, wow, I just took money out of my house. I feel rich now because I have this cash. You got to make that cash work for you, or else you're going backwards. And that's part of the mindset. That's what your mentor will tell you, right? Your homeboy will tell you, go take the money out and go buy yourself, a nice set of wheels, or go shopping, or go treat yourself. No, you got to use that's money, hard-earned money that you got to get growing.
Use that money to make money. I hear you. I hear you. Cedric, I know that you have to go, but I want to double back on a couple of things. Where would someone register to be part of your mentor?
Can you pull up my website? I'll show you right now. If you go to cedricnash.com.
1 second.
You see that button up there? Take the challenge.
Take the challenge.
Click that. Scroll down right there. Go up. Join the Black Wealth Growth Challenge. Click that. We take some information. We add you to the email list, and you start participating. You have to document your starting net worth, because our job is to grow your net worth by the end of the year. You listen to the tutorial about how to track your net worth. You download the templates, and you get busy.
That is awesome. Awesome. Speak to me about the Black Wealth.
Free, 100% free.
100% free. Wow.
We don't sell anything. We don't promote anything. We're not taking anything from you. We're just pouring into you.
Wow. And then you also have the Black Wealth Summit.
Yep. We've got the Black Wealth Summit that's going to have, we have a Juneteenth event happening in June, and we have our October event happening in October, where we have that one. We do charge a registration fee, but there'll be celebrities and advisors from the top financial services firms in the country providing session knowledge on everything from real estate, stocks, entrepreneurship, and and private equity.
Wow. But we're going to see you on the 10th
Yep.
at Raymond James. And Drew, where's that going to be again?
That is Raymond James Financial Center. That's 880 Canolian Parkway. That's St. Pete, Florida. And just remember, it's free. It's already paid for. And it starts at 5:30. It's from 5:30 to 8:30. Y'all need to be there.
Yep.
And this is the first time that they've opened their campus, right?
That is absolutely correct. So when you're talking about trustworthiness, and they wouldn't allow headquarters, come on. This is the very first time. So we'll certainly make some history on March 10th.
All right. Cedric, again, it was a pleasure. Thank you for coming on to the show and dropping some more knowledge. We look forward to seeing you on the 10th at Raymond James Stadium. You're just such a valuable resource to our community with the mentoring that you're doing with, so many the athletes and high net worth anyone that really want to build their net worth. You don't have to be already a professional athlete or even a business person. You're working with anyone that's willing to work with to build net worth in our community.
Correct.
That is awesome. That's awesome. I will see you on the 10th. Again, thank you for coming on to the show. I'll see you at the event on the 10th at Raymond James.
Thank you very much.
5:30. See you there.
Take care.
All right.
All right. So, Drew, as always, Cedric has been, just a powerhouse of information that he's given to our community. He's funding this. A lot of this is out of his own pocket, man.
All of it. He's funding it. Yeah. Other than, the partnerships that we're having with Raymond James, yes, he's coming out of his pocket for this.
Jess says, where do you find these mentors when you aren't in the spaces where they hang out? Okay, so Jess, you would start off at, let me bring this back up. You would start off here, go to cedricnash.com, and then go down to, let me expand this a little bit. To grow your net worth, I'm here to help. Click on this link and then fill out this information. That is how you would start on your wealth building journey. He's making it real easy. And then he just said that there's no charge to this. So this is awesome. This is awesome. I think I'm going to fill out it and we're going to go from there.
Also, there will be professional advisors that actually work for Raymond James that will be there too, that would love to, sit down and find out exactly where anyone's at and meet them right where they are. So it could really, truly change their entire trajectory. I promise you.
Well, I thought I had to have $1 million to talk to a Raymond James guy. I don't have to have $1 million.
No, not at all. Not at all. That's what this is about. This is about wherever you are, they'll certainly, talk with you and give you some insight. And most of the time, in order to be great, you first got to get started. So here's an opportunity to get started, make this happen.
So when I go to see Cedric Nash, not only on the 10th, not only will he provide me more information about the journey, but then there will be people there that can help me with wherever I'm at along that ladder.
That is absolutely correct. That are licensed and bonded and have done quite well. As a matter of fact, a gentleman by the name of Preston Dubins, he has up to date 12 NFL players. He will actually be there to talk with any and everyone that want to talk with him. So
Preston is also an
advisor,
a friend of the show. He is an advisor. He actually is one of the ones that a person that I met at your event, the CEO Experience event that you're having on. Is that something that we're doing quarterly now, or tell me more about that event? Because we just had one at the airport
Yeah,
like a couple of weeks ago, right? A week or
correct.
so.
It started out quarterly, but what's happening is I'm getting so many corporate sponsors that are calling me and saying, "Hey, I want to put a message out there about our brand and our services." So it looks like every 2 months we'll have a CEO experience at a different venue.
Okay, so and what is the purpose of the CEO experience?
That whole CEO experience is getting those CEOs out of their own circle and getting out of that every day, because it seems as if every week, you're doing what you do. I get them out of their circle so they can get an opportunity to meet other CEOs they wouldn't have the convenience or the opportunity to meet, but most importantly, learning how to collaborate within your own. And you don't know what you don't know. So you're going to have those investors, you have bankers and other entities that will be there to say, "Hey, look, tell me a little bit more about your brand and how you could partner up with a lot of other entities out there to grow your brand."
So it is it geared towards CEOs only, or are we?
Yeah, we're talking, and that's what's so unique about this event, which I created. It's designed for CEOs only, to give and to grant access to other CEOs so they can find out who's in town that they could do business with. The minute we begin to collaborate and do things together, our brand will grow. One zip code at a time, you can make a difference, but it's through collaboration. And I just found that I talked to two young men. They met at my event. One young man, it did $500,000. Together, they're going to do $2 million, David, together. And they met at my event at the CEO Experience.
So they met and realized there was some synergy.
Yes.
And decided to team up and do something. What field was that in?
They're in the IT industry.
Mm-hmm.
They're in the IT and also the construction. So one is a supplier and the other one builds. So now they're coming in together.
That's what's so great is when when we network among ourselves, or we network among people, there's opportunities there. So it's not a hard sell type of event, but it is an opportunity to give people a space to meet, develop real relationships, and see if there's some synergy and we can work together. Is that correct?
Absolutely, David. At the end of the day, there may be a CEO out there you'd like to reach out to, but what happens is you typically get caught up with the gatekeepers. At my event, you get a chance to actually talk with them, and now they're open to talking because now we got a 3-hour window, and everyone's just so open, and that's where you want to be. You really want to be in alignment and find out when our next event. We're having an event in April. I got to get some dates because JP Morgan Chase is going to pay for it.
Wow. And so it's going to be sometime in April. We're going to have a major bank being the title sponsor, and we get out there. Typically the format is that, you have a chance to meet and greet. You have something to eat. There's going to be music out there also.
It's all about that experience, right? I just want to make sure everyone feels so comfortable that they can just share their brand, but most importantly, having a good time to do something different than just work all the time. I just want them to just feel comfortable and to simply say, you know what, today I can represent my brand, but I can actually do it in a cool way.
That is awesome. I don't think Tampa has that opportunity. I remember way back when I was in the military, and we one of the things that I was stationed in Pensacola, Florida, and one of the things Tampa was known for was their First Fridays,
right?
Back then, and it would be a moving event. But it was a party, it wasn't it wasn't, there was no, no real entrepreneurship component to it.
Or for professionals. So
no professionalism.
We're going to actually do
it was
that
just,
too.
So over the years, I graduated from USF, and we've done starting businesses and my brokerage and those type of things. But there hasn't been an outlet where professionals can get out there, like you say, get away from the office, listen to some music, decompress,
Sure.
and meet other like-minded people. We talked about earlier with Cedric about the mindset. That's the entrepreneurial mindset. It's not just a mindset of building wealth, but a mindset of being a business owner, starting your own gig, or talking to someone that look like you that's already doing it.
Yeah. Here's what I want to say in closing, David. At the end of the day, just because you make money doesn't mean that you're not frustrated. So by coming to my event, we get an opportunity to fill your cup so you can keep serving, because every day you're doing your business, what you're doing, you're out there serving your clients. So oftentimes your cup might be empty, but when you come to my event, I get a chance to fill your cup so you can celebrate that you're doing what you do, get a chance to celebrate with others that's in your industry, and collectively we can say, you know what, we can do this together. And you don't have to struggle, because just because you're making a lot of money, you may not have a window of having a good time. So you can sort of come down and say, you know what, this is kind of cool. I get a chance to listen to a little bit of music, get a chance to see people that like-minded, just like me. And it has just been so refreshing. 99% of all of my CEOs that come to my events, they always ask me, man, when is your next one? Because I want to come. So we're providing a service. David, you're part of it. You're part of the team. We're going to continue to put this good content out. We're going to continue to do what it is, because we are making a difference one zip code at a time.
Awesome. And let's go one last time. How would someone meet Cedric, and where would they need to go on the 10th?
Yeah, so on March 10th from 5:30 to 8:30, we will be at the Raymond James Financial Center, and the location is 880, and that's Kenneland Parkway in St. Pete, from 5:30 to 8:30. You certainly want to be there. There's no cost. Cedric Nash has paid for all of it, along with Raymond James as a major sponsor.
All right. Awesome. All right. So, Drew, again, thank you for coming on to the show. I know that, on Sunday, we typically are doing some other things with our family and friends. I want to, I think that we've learned a lot about mindset. We've learned a lot about building wealth in our community. That CEO experience event that you're going to be putting on every couple of months, that's another way that, I guess there's 200 plus, 200, 300 people there at every event.
Absolutely.
That you can go there and network with. Again, you're doing big things, brother. Salute. And thank you again for coming on to the show.
Hey, I'll see you soon. Thank you. All right.
All right, there, guys. Jess, I want to thank you for the super sticker. Jess is a great content creator of her own on YouTube. She is part of our mastermind group with the lead attorney. Great person. Jess, drop your. I'm going to drop your link to your show in the comment section so they can subscribe. If you're interested in checking out, please check out Jess talk about it, her channel. Great person, and I appreciate the super sticker. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Now, guys, I think that one of the most empowering things that we talked about in today's show was the mindset. More than anything else, having the entrepreneurial mindset. One thing that I wish that I had when I was growing up is the ability to connect with multimillionaires to talk about some of the things that can help build wealth in my community, with my family, leave a legacy. Our little personal story, going to when I was 18 years old and getting ready to venture out into the world outside of my mom's house, I joined the military. I joined the Navy. The Navy allowed me to look at a lot of things, to go all over the world, to see a lot of sights, to experience a lot of things being a full-time sailor. One I did not see is I did not see a whole lot of people that look like us. I worked on computers. I worked in crypto. We had a certain protocol and procedure that we had to follow. It was a very, as military goes, a very good job, very good job, and I had a great time. I saw everything. What I didn't see is a whole lot of people that look like me. What I didn't see when I was in USF was taking my computer engineering degree, passing that. It was only three of us guys. It was just, well, four, and three of us graduated. It was a sister from the Bahamas. When she graduated, she went back home. It was me and my partner, and starting your own business, going through the process, accumulating, trying to build wealth in your community. There's not a whole lot of people that are willing to take the time to pour back into that community. Cedric Nash is unique. That brother is unique. And so when he takes the time to come on Sunday, when he takes the time to go to these events that he's sponsoring, along with Raymond James, along with other major corporations, and they're sponsoring these things. When you have a broker, a real commercial broker like Tanisha Scantling, you have really a lot of people that are stakeholders in the community that are really qualified and able to help. They've been in the trenches. They've worked. They know they're experts in their career, in their field. Taking the time to pour back into our community, to give back, That's really important. That's really important. And it's great to see that someone who looks like us is doing that. So I'm going to be at this event on the 10th at Raymond James. We're going to probably do a podcast, a live cast from there. We're going to talk about opportunities that are in our community. We might have another success story like Andrew Ware, the CEO of World Class Consulting, said, where people meet up and now they're going to do, $2 million worth of business together. Those things can happen, but it can only happen when we have the right mindset and collaborate and work with each other. We can work with everyone. We're not shutting out any community. When it's not just, it's not an us against them. It is about, let's work together. Let's do the right thing to build wealth in the community. Let's leave a legacy. Those are things that are important. And like to, Tisha's point, it is, you don't have to live a draconian lifestyle. It doesn't have to be always at the grind. Once you get to a certain level, you're able to pull out and have your assets buy, the nice shoes, the nice bag, the nice car, maybe a boat or two. What you don't want to do is you don't want to spend your money, your disposable income, your income that can help build your net worth on those things. Let your assets pay for that. What Cedric Nash mentioned is that you can start from zero, building up your first $1,000, stock market, real estate, have those multiple streams of income, have a real business, diversify your business. When you hit the level 7, now you're able to walk away. And guess what, guys? You have financial freedom. You have financial freedom. And that's what it's all about. It's building a bridge to from where you are to financial freedom. And unlike a lot of books, unlike a whole lot of gurus that have come, there's been nothing that I'm aware of that gives a step-by-step detail like Mr. Nash book. So I'm going to see you guys on there at the Raymond James event on the 10th with Cedric Nash, as he talk more and more about building wealth in the community and talk more and more about his book. As always, I want you to stay grinding and salute. I'll see you next one.